Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7. This is going to be kind of a difficult one for me to organize, but I keep having people ask me this, and I've got to just put it in a video so it's not everywhere and it's organized in one place. So we're going to take a look at all of the lab gear, all of the story gear you can pick up, stuff like Pegasus boots and Uberid's gear. This is really hard to do because you've already done it, right? Or I've already done it, so I don't have, I can't show you me getting it, but I can kind of show you what pieces are what and where you get them. So the first one we are going to be getting is the Uberid's weapon, which I think I sold. I sure did. This is why this is going to be difficult, but let's just go show you where everything is. We're going to go through every single lab just one by one. Point out all the chests. So the first one here is going to be in a chest right over here. Right where my mouse cursor, you can see my cursor, right? Wow, you can. Oh yeah, there we go. There's my cursor. I was like, oh no, you can't see my cursor. Is right over there. There's also some sky shards down here as well, but that's not as important. So if you do not have Uberid's weapon, it's right over there. Next up, we are going to be getting the Uberid's chest, a defense piece, really good for any sort of early game player. And for those of you who don't know, there's basically one piece of gear in every area. So it's the same over here. There's two spots. There's going to be sky shards right up here in the top right, and right over here is going to be the Uberid's chest. So that is awesome there. Really, really, really good piece of gear. Defense, HP, speed, something else. Perfect piece early, especially if you get some speed. Next up is the Uberid's helm. And that one, I believe, is going to be sitting right back here. Bottom right here, covered by Carmen Rose, if I remember correctly. Pretty easy to get, and definitely a good upgrade. One of the best helms you can get for a while, especially if you do not have the Christmas helm. So make sure you get that one as well. If I was good at editing, I would have pictures of all of these on here, but this is what you got. This is what you get to deal with when you watch Mango. Next up, we're going to be doing Uberid's boots, and Uberid's boots are a defense piece. Really, really, really solid boots to go on maybe a tank of some sort, maybe an early game Clury. Just really good for early game players. 40% defense, really solid. That's going to be right here in this little place right over in the corner. There's also, I think, Skystones right over in this one too, if you want to pick that one out too. Next up here, we have Uberid's neck, I think. Yeah, Uberid's neck. It's the only one we haven't seen. And this is, I think, the best piece of gear coming out of the first labyrinth. You've got to make sure you get this one. Uberid's neck is sitting right over in this slot, right over here. In the top right, you can see pretty easy to get to. This one might take 2 trips if you don't have enough morale, but definitely worth it. 35% crit rate on a neck, just absolutely fantastic right there. I also think there's maybe some sky shards here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but either way, you should be checking stuff like that too. So next up is Lab 2. And Lab 2 is not as good of a set as the Uberid's, but it is still really solid. Next up is going to be the best piece, I think, of the second area, and that is Ring of a Sacred Hero. Going to be in the very bottom left here. This is a 40% attack crit ring. One of the best 2 pieces to go in with the Pegasus boots, which I'll show you about later. And I think there's also a chest here maybe for some sky shards if you want to pick that one up too. So the one after this, I'm just plowing through these guys. Hopefully you're catching up. Is the Sacred Hero chest piece. This is a crit chest piece. I think it's got HP, crit, and speed. And then like a flat or something like that. Ooh, just kidding. This one's the sword. This one's the sword, sorry. The sword is going to be sitting right over here. Right over here. I can't remember what's on this sword. I think it's a health sword. But it's going to be right in this spot here. I definitely don't remember even using this. I think it's a sort of a Sacred Hero that's a health set. Not the best piece of gear, but definitely a decent starter. So in zone number 3, we are going to be looking at the Chest of a Sacred Hero finally here. This is a pretty solid piece, and this is going to be right here, right near the start. The reason why I like this piece is because it goes really well with any crit set early game, and it's kind of hard to get chest pieces, especially because you're not going to have an attack chest piece from the Ubrid set earlier, so this is really good to go with that. There's also likely Sky Shards down there if you want to pick them up. So next up on our list is the Helm of a Sacred Hero in Zone 4. And Zone 4's Helm of a Sacred Hero is definitely great too. It's got HP defense, and I can't remember the other stats. No speed, so I think it's like effectiveness and effect resistance or something like that. And that one's going to be sitting right over here near the end. Definitely pretty solid. The reason why this wasn't as popular before is because we had the PvP helm to use. But without the PvP helm, definitely a good option, so make sure you pick that up as well. These are all fantastic pieces of gear, by the way, that all should be plus 12 to plus 15-ish. And one of the better pieces is going to be the Boots of a Sacred Hero, and this is probably going to be the first 35 speed boots you can get, because they come really early. You can get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 days into the game or something like that, maybe even less, and that's going to be right down in the bottom right here. Is where you get these Boots of a Sacred Hero. Their crit rate boots go perfect with the crit rate ring or any other piece like the crit rate chest. Absolutely pick those up. 95% of accounts should have those at plus 15 as well, I would say. Okay, so I'm honestly just going to skip the third lab. The third lab doesn't have the greatest of gear, especially by the time you get there. And you kind of need to clear it all anyway, just because of how confusing the ways are. Even if I told you where they were, you wouldn't be able to just go straight to it. So next up, we're just going to kind of explain how to find gear in the story. There's a couple special pieces you need to get, and I'll point those out for sure. But you need to take advantage of the quest rewards, I guess you would call it, or the requirements. So Tirel Castle has an open golden chest here. That means there's going to be a piece of gear. This is really early game. It takes 2 runs to do it. A lot of these take multiple runs, so you go into the stage once, clear it, and then you go in a second, and another part's locked or unlocked, and you can go get it. So you can get a prayer sword, I believe it is, an attack set purple sword right from here. And you'll know if you've got it or not because it will say checkmark by the chest there. So if you don't find it in your inventory and you've got that checkmark, that means you foddered it. Obviously this one is not the greatest, but a couple of these are pretty great. So some of the better pieces are in these labyrinths here. So if you take a look at the labyrinth, that little symbol we see, that means it's kind of a maze, and there's often a chest to go with it. This one is 10-3. I believe this is Pegasus boots. I hope I'm right. Pegasus boots are right over here, right in this little corner. There's no open chest in this one, so you just kind of have to know. But if you've got this little place discovered, you can see Pegasus boots right there. There is also more in the 9 stages. So we've got another one here in 9-7, and we can see the maze thing here, and there's open a golden chest. So there's going to be a chest in this one too. I think this one is the Helm of Heaven and Earth, or maybe it's the this is why this is so hard. I've had them for like 4 months, right? And I don't know a better way to do this, but I can show you where they are and you can figure out where they are. This one is Wind Spirit Stronghold. Right over here you can see, and that'll give you a piece of gear. It's either Dragon Scale Armor or Heaven and Earth Helm, I believe. And if we go to the other stage 9 here, there is another one. And we can search to find a maze-like thing again. There will never, ever, ever be a chest in a thing with a skull. The only place there will be chests is if there is a maze and you can move around. So this one may very well be the Dragon Scale Armor too. It's in right little this little alcove right here. And just to give you an example, if you're doing this the first time, you cannot go down this way. You can only go this way. So you go in, clear it like this, and then the next time you go in, you'll be able to go right and get to this little spot here. So yeah, I hope this kind of helps you figure out where gear is and where you've missed. Just take a quick little gander through all of the places here and like go look through chapter 8, see if there's any mazes. Oh look, there's a maze. Let's go click into it. There's a golden chest in here, so that means there's probably a piece of gear or something. So we'll open up the thing here. And what do you know, there's a little alcove right here, so that's how you find stuff. Just, I would honestly go through every single stage if you're really curious, and just try out all the chests, see if there's anything to go look for. And also, if you're the type of person who doesn't have this done, you don't have this gold chest done, that means you also don't have the region reward at the bottom left done. You should probably finish this too as well, because you get a bunch of sky stones, and on hell difficulty or world difficulty, you will get Molagora as well. And to note, there is no gear in world difficulty, and all the labyrinths are gone. So for example, this was a labyrinth stage in normal, but it's not a labyrinth stage here. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to try to put together like a spreadsheet with all the information in, so it's not all over the place, because I should have had this done a while ago, but it's just so much effort and so much time for me to do that I haven't got around to it. So look out for that. I'll put it in the descriptions of all my videos when I get around to it. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.